Awesome. So you guys are hearing from Raisha today. I understand what it means for your wedding season. Raisha, are you ready to take it away?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Boom. There's Raisha, y'all. Make sure y'all give her your undivided attention.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, wherever you are. Hello. I wanted to bring a talk to you guys that was pure and something that I know very all too well about. Um, it's easy to talk about things that resonate with you and that you can identify with. Please excuse me. I do have my aligners in my mouth, so if I do pronounce anything a little weird or I have a little lisp, it's because of these aligners. I just switched my trays out today. So, what does it mean to be in your waiting season? And disclaimer, I am not a pastor, I am not a minister. However, I am someone who is rooted in the Holy Ghost and I am relatable. And that's all I want you guys to take away from my talk today is to see someone that you can identify with and that is relatable. The reason why I chose understanding what it means to be in your waiting season, because sometimes we forget that the things that God has promised us, the things that we want in life, doesn't come with a time frame. We put a time frame on everything in our life. You know, you want to have a car by a certain time, you want to be married by a certain time, you want to have children by a certain time, you know, you want to have all your ducks pretty much lined up in a row, and we put a time frame on it. And when that doesn't happen, we start to either make hasty decisions and do it again and without any preparation, or we tend to say, you know what, maybe it wasn't for me. But maybe, what if it was for you? It just wasn't your time. Let that sit for a little bit. What if it is for you, but it isn't your time? I was on Instagram the other day and I saw a meme that said, everyone doubted my faith until it started raining. And it was like by Noah. When Noah created the ark, no one believed him that the flood was going to come, but the flood came. That's when everybody believed him. And I'm saying this to you, to me, no matter what it looks like and how long it has took you to get to where you want to be, or to have the things that, you know, you had a vision of. Some of you are waiting to have children. Some of you are waiting to get in law school like me. Some of you are waiting to get into med school. Some of you are waiting for a brand new job. Some of you are waiting for something. Everyone is waiting for something. But the only thing that's going to hold you together is your faith, and your faith alone. Sometimes you're going to have your faith by yourself. Sometimes you're not going to have supporters behind your back. Sometimes the people who are the closest to you will start to doubt that, you know what, maybe you should look into something else. But the one thing I will definitely tell you, if God brought you to it, he gave you that vision, you hold on to that and you keep pushing forward. The waiting season, to me, is the most important part of your journey to get to wherever the promise is. Whatever that promise is at the end, the waiting season is the most important thing, aside from getting there. The waiting season, or the season of waiting, is all about preparation. Just like you plant something in a soil, it takes time. You got to figure out sometimes how much water to put into the soil, what seeds need to be in that soil, what kind of fertilizer you need in order to make things grow. So why can't your life be the same thing? Water the things that you wish to come into fruition. Prepare for it. And during preparation, there are going to be a lot of things that go wrong. And that's okay. There's going to be a lot of delays and detours, and that's okay, because your journey is your journey. Your waiting season is the most important because it's a season of preparation and you have things to learn. You have people to meet. Think about getting something prematurely that you wanted and you got it too soon. And then you start to say, you know what? I really don't want that. I really don't like that. Imagine having a vision your whole life, and then you rush into it, and then it's not what you expected. And sometimes it's not what you expected because it wasn't your time. A lot of times we try to make God move faster, or we think that we can outbeat God. And for my ladies who are not believers, that's fine. You still can get my message and what I'm saying. Just imagine getting something prematurely before it's your time. You will not, sometimes you won't appreciate it. Sometimes you will regret the decision that was made. And sometimes you even will question whether or not it was for you. Your waiting season is just season of preparation. It's a preparation to the purpose. It's a time, a space for you to understand who you are, for you to develop as a person, for your character to develop, for you to understand what it is, that purpose and that vision that is in front of you and what it means for you. Everyone has their own vision. Everyone has a different story. Everyone has a different route to their journey and to their promise. But you have to be able to know when, you have to be able to sit back and say, it's okay to wait. I'm okay with waiting. It's fine. I'm fine with waiting. There's a lot of things that are going around. I also saw another meme on Instagram that said, sometimes I worry myself because I don't know if this is truly what God wants from me, or I'm wrestling with my flesh. A lot of times we don't know whether or not this is what God wants for us, or this is what I want from myself. How do you know whether or not the two are aligned? It will be just that. It will align when it's your time. With everything, cooking, just think about everything on a day-to-day life, on a day-to-day basis. Everything requires some level of preparation. So why are you rushing that dream of yours? Whatever it is, that business idea, that book that you want to write, why are you rushing it? Don't you want it to be well received when it's your time? Now to share a little bit about me and my journey, because this is how it makes me relatable. This is how I am able to talk about what it means to be in your waiting season. I have been actively pursuing law school for 6 years. December 2014 was the first time I took the LSAT. I have took the LSAT multiple times over the course of 6 years. And each time I had the same score, the same effect. And it wasn't because of lack of preparation. One, it was because of it wasn't my time. I had to discover new things about me, and people had to come into my life. If I would have gotten what I wanted early on in 2014, I probably would have hated my law school experience. I probably would hate being an attorney because I was in denial for a long time as to what kind of lawyer I wanted myself to be. I thought I wanted to work in corporate law. I thought I wanted to do all these different types of law. But I realized early on, and I'm not in law school yet, but I recognized in my 6 years that I am not meant for certain places. Certain environments will not feed me. It won't feed me my vision. It won't feed my purpose. But going back, I've been on this journey to law school for 6 years. I've applied to law school twice and been rejected. The reason why I've been in my waiting season for so long to get into law school is because I'm gonna share a little bit of my story because I do want to do it again. I was misdiagnosed with testing anxiety for the last 18 years. I am 32 years old. The first time I did horrible on a standardized test was when I was 13. I knew that I would face the same fate when it came to applying for college, which it did. Both times applied to schools, rejected, had to find another way in. So it was absolutely a part of my destiny to also face the same thing when applying to law school. I knew this was going to happen. However, I didn't know it was going to last this long. Did I ever doubt God? No. Was I sick of waiting? Absolutely. It made no sense to me because I tried to pray this vision away. I tried to pray going to law school away. But everything that I did still would align with me wanting to go into law school and wanting to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a lawyer since I was 8 years old, and I never gave up on that dream. Never gave up on that dream. So with my multiple attempts at the LSAT, each time I did horrible. I prepped. I tried numerous companies. I tried different tutors. I tried everything that I could think about doing, and nothing worked. Until last year, around this time, I said something else has to be going on. I finally found someone to help me with the LSAT, but not just with the LSAT, but to help me manage my testing anxiety, because she recognized that in me. She recognized there was a disconnect between what I was comprehending on this test. It wasn't just the material. I literally was cognitively impaired while doing this test because of my anxiety. Had I not met my tutor, I would have been in the same boat over and over again. I probably would have, maybe I would have gave up. No, I would have kept trying. I would have kept trying. I would have kept going with the LSAT. Since I met my tutor, this time last year, my LSAT score has went up 10 points. I was able to get testing accommodations. My progress and my growth is because somebody else recognized that I had a problem, I had an issue. It necessarily wasn't my intellect. It was something happening internally. It took 6 years of me trying to beat the LSAT for someone to finally recognize that, Raisha, this is what, something else might be going on here. It's not you, but something else is going on here. And I say that to say, had I not met her, I would have never understood what accommodations were for. I would have the same struggles on the bar exam. But now that I have the tools that I need to be successful, I'm on my way to beating the LSAT. And not just beating it, but making sure that I get a partial to a full ride, and I'm putting that in the atmosphere. It took 6 years for me to get here, for me to recognize, for someone to recognize that I have a problem, because I couldn't articulate it to anybody else because no one understood. We all just say it's just standardized test. Everything is starting to align now with my passion and my purpose. Everything is starting to align with me wanting to be a lawyer. The delay was necessary. Also, during this time, I was able to work on my personal healing, my growth. I'm getting more comfortable with doing presentations and talks like this. I'm meeting so many people along the way in my journey. I know what kind of lawyer I want to be. I know where I want to go. And again, this is not for everyone. You don't need to know everything prior to going to law school. However, my journey is my journey. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone's journey in life is different, regardless of the fact. It's not going to look like anyone else's. Imagine if I would have gotten what I wanted when I thought I wanted it. I would have hated it. I appreciate the legal field so much more now than I did before. Everything I do right now aligns with my purpose. But it was all a part of my waiting season, which I'm still currently in. God willing, I'll be in law school in the fall of 2021. Even my job is aligned with what I want to do as an attorney. I currently work for New York City's Department of Education as an impartial hearing representative. Pretty much impartial hearings are hearings filed by parents of students with disabilities. I see a lot that goes on in the public school system. My job allows me to pretty much be a lawyer before I am even in law school. This is a very unique opportunity that I have. I didn't even know my job existed. This is a brand new opportunity. I never heard of it, never thought about it, saw it, applied, and got it. And I'm grateful I got it because that job is allowing me to, again, I'm up against attorneys, pro se parents, advocates. I'm putting on real witnesses. I am doing direct and cross-examination. Excuse me. Like I'm really pretty much an attorney at my job, but I'm not. I'm trained. My job is not enough for me because I'm on the wrong side of the table, but that's a discussion for another day. But needless to say, the experience that I'm getting is one of a kind experience because this almost seems as if I'm in a clinic and I'm representing clients when I'm actually representing the school district. I'm getting this prior to me going into law school. And this job solidified my passion for public interest law and also to wanting to be a litigator. 6 years it has took me. I've been on this journey for 6 years to law school. How will you know whether or not what you're asking for, what you've been praying for, what the vision that you received is of God? Everything will start to align. Again, there's going to be a lot of opposition when you're close to making a breakthrough, when you're close to getting to that promise. There's going to be a lot of opposition. It's not going to be easy. You have to be willing to get dirty, to fight for it, and to believe in yourself when nobody else will. People will raise eyebrows when things don't go as planned. You also have to be able to pick yourself up when things don't go as planned. And this is the truth for me. I've never doubted God this entire time because I knew the vision was made very plain and clear. I just didn't know when it was going to happen. I thought it was going to happen by now, and I thank God it didn't. Your waiting season is necessary. It builds you up. Your waiting season prepares you for what the promise is. Sometimes you have to get your finances in order to get what you want to get. Sometimes you have to go through healing and get some therapy before you get where you need to go. Sometimes you have to meet somebody prior to you getting what you want. There are things that are necessary that need to happen before you get to the end goal. This is the most important part of your journey, and do not make a mistake and miss the lessons that are being taught in this period of the time of waiting. Sometimes I know that it's hard. I know that it's hard because I'm currently in my waiting season. But everything is starting to finally align and manifest right before my very eyes. Would you believe me if I told you that I am somewhat shy? And I don't like talking in front of people. But this is what me being in my waiting season has done. It has allowed me to build up to me wanting to talk in front of people. My job did that for me. Another point to bring in as to why your waiting season is important. My job was not also an eye opener for me to see what kind of lawyer I wanted to be. It was also for me to recognize that I may possibly have a disability, a psychological disability. Had I not had my job, I would have never knew what testing anxiety was. However, I didn't recognize that I had testing anxiety until somebody else told me. I started my job 3 years ago. The first time I applied to school was 3 years before that. Oh no, my math is off, y'all. I don't do well with the numbers, but whatever. No. So yes, the first time I took the LSAT was 3 years prior to me getting my job. I got the job in 2017, and my first LSAT was in 2014. So yes, that was 3 years. Do you see how the time keeps adding up? But it's my waiting season. It's my period of preparation. One of my favorite scriptures, and I am going to mess it up, but it's okay. So, give me 1 second, guys. I should have had this written down, but I think the best way to do these talks sometimes is to kind of wing it, and that's what I'm doing. How about I got 2? There's 2. Okay. I cannot pronounce this, but I think it's Habakkuk 2-23. I'm reading from the King James Version. And verse 2 says, "And the Lord answered me and said, write the vision and make it plain upon tables, that he may run that readeth it. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry." What this Bible verse is pretty much saying, write the vision down. See it. You need to see it. Write it down. Even though it's not coming into fruition now, it will come into fruition later on. And when it comes into fruition later on, it will be everything that you imagined it would be, and plus more. Delays and detours in your journey are necessary. I'm glad that I am in my season of waiting and preparation. I am glad things did not turn out the way that I thought it would be. Just to go a little bit more back into my background and to more about my waiting season, it took a while before I could actually start my career in the legal field. I graduated from St. John's University in 2011 with a BS in legal studies. Prior to that, I was a Howard Bison. So I went to Howard for a season for about a year and a half. That's a whole other discussion as to why I left. It had nothing to do with the school itself. I loved Howard, which my degree says Howard. But I got my degree from St. John's in legal studies. You would think that it would be easy for someone who has a degree to get a job in the legal field. No. My background at that time was working in financial services. So I worked at American Express. I worked at HSBC Bank. I had quite a few jobs. It wasn't time for me to step foot into the legal field. I didn't have my first legal job until 2013. It took a while before I can get a legal job, and a legal position that actually fits my needs. I didn't get that position until 2017. Now, in between that time, I've had other opportunities, all legally related, but not ones that quite fit who I was. I was a federal contractor with the U.S. Commodities Futures Trade Commission as a senior paralegal, and I also was a federal contractor with the U.S. Department of Justice, also as a senior paralegal in the antitrust division. None of those jobs fed my soul, and it was so boring to me. Again, I'm saying this to say to you, I'm not in law school yet, but I know what I want prior to going in. I am open, absolutely open for whatever clinics, externships, opportunities that will come my way in law school. I'm not turning anything down unless it's something I absolutely don't want. But I'm saying all this to say, had I not gone through my waiting process, I would have never known that I don't want to be in a government agency. I would have never known that big law isn't for me. And I would have never known what kind of lawyer I wanted to be. Again, something that you don't need to know prior to going to law school. But my waiting period has allowed me to gain all this valuable experience prior to me getting to my promise. So once I get to my promise, I can hit the ground running. There's no questioning, there's no second guessing myself because I know I am meant to be in that place, in that space. Again, everyone's journey is different. Everyone's waiting season is different. Sometimes things get worse before they get better. Sometimes things comes easier to others. But everyone has a story to tell about how they got there and the lessons they learned and the people they met. Your waiting season is unique to you. Your waiting season is preparing you, renewing your mind. Your waiting season is necessary. As long as you keep trying and doing your best, you will get there. Take note of what it is at that moment you're supposed to get from whatever happened. If you thought something was going to work out this time, take note as to what the lesson was behind it. Not everything that goes wrong is of the devil. I'm going to say that. There's a lesson to be learned. And I thought with success, there's a lot of failures that happen before success happens. You're going to get a bunch of no's. You're going to get a bunch of rejections. You're going to get a bunch of not yet. And maybe sort of kind of you have potential. You're not ready yet. Even when you feel ready. But sometimes deep down, we know we're not necessarily all the way ready. And we have to be able to admit that as well. I was never ready for law school 6 years ago. I have matured so much within this 6-year time span, and I'm grateful again for my waiting season and my waiting period. Had I been in law school before, I probably would have never been on this platform that Nina has provided us. I probably would have never accomplished some of the things that I've accomplished if I would have gotten what I wanted prior to. Again, it could have happened in 2014 and it could have been a wonderful experience, but I can't go up of what could have happened because it didn't happen. And I'm glad it did. Delays and detours are just there for development. Delays and detours are there to build resilience. We also have to be mindful that when you're in your season of waiting, a lot of times it's not just for you. It's to develop you so that you can share your story with someone else. Someone is waiting for you to go overcome what you're going through in your waiting season so that they know that they can also survive. Your waiting season is necessary, and I keep saying that. It's absolutely necessary. I don't want anything prematurely. And I'm noticing that now that I want what God wants for me within the time frame that He wants me to have it. Even if I only have the promise for a couple of years, so be it. I want it when He is ready for me to have it. So during your waiting season, prepare for what you're asking for. That's the purpose. Prepare for what you're asking for. Take the necessary steps to prepare for what you're asking for and what you're waiting for and what you've been praying for or manifesting, whatever. Do the necessary internal work. Do the necessary internal work. I'm going to keep saying that. Do the necessary internal work. Because a lot of us forget that the internal work is so important that when we get to the promise, it becomes overwhelming and we break down. Work on yourself first during your season of waiting. Great things take time. Now, I don't know everybody, all the people in the Bible now. Hold on. I don't know all the names in the Bible, but the one thing I will say is the majority of people in the Bible that have had some tumultuous stories and backgrounds, and that have actually turned out to be great, Joseph, Abraham, David, a lot of these people, even Jesus, had waiting periods. They had seasons of waiting. And when God gave them when the vision came, God gave them more than what they wanted. All great people have a season of waiting. So when the ground takes off, you can go ahead and take off running when that door is ready to be open without any hesitation. So listen to what is happening right now. Write down your goals. Write down the things that you want to happen. Every time you've been hit with failure, re-examine what that was. There's a lesson behind that failure that happened. What is to be taken away from that experience so now that you can learn from it and apply it to the next time you try again? Sometimes you have no idea what else God is putting inside of you. Some people are going to be able to write books one day, which I hope to write a book. I got a story to tell. This testimony that's in my underbelly, y'all. Y'all know. Y'all just follow me, contact me. Y'all know about it. Y'all know about it soon enough. But there are so many new visions that are being birthed during your waiting season that are necessary. It is necessary to wait. Don't rush God. Forget other people's timelines. Forget what society tells you need to have certain things by a certain time. Your journey is your journey. Another thing is the vision will almost be a lot different than what you imagine and plan it to be. God sometimes gives you what you want, but it looks differently. And you have to be open and willing for that as well. You can't put limits on God. You can't put limits on your hopes and your dreams. Don't put a timetable on that. Gain experience. Live in the time being. Don't beat yourself up because you will surely get there when it's your time, when it's your season. When it's time for you to reap that seed that has been sown, trust me, it's going to be better than what you could have ever imagined. But what's important here is what you take away from your waiting season, or season of waiting, however people want to say it. That is the most important thing at this moment, is what did you learn from your waiting season? Who did you become during your waiting season? It is so important that we don't skip out on something so beautiful because we're tired of waiting. A lot of people throw in the towel after sometimes, because sometimes what we do want sometimes is not what we are supposed to be doing. Again, when it's not your time, things won't align. But when it's time, and if God keeps bringing that vision to you, if that vision keeps coming to you in your dreams, at work, if you can't stop thinking about it, keep pursuing it. But also be mindful of how you're pursuing it. You have to regroup. You can't keep beating on something, a dead horse, thinking that the horse is going to come alive when you have not thought about, oh, well, maybe let me check the horse's heart, or let me see what's wrong with the horse. Read the manual. Your manual is your waiting season. There are things that you need to take away from this experience, and don't miss out on that. I have been in a period of waiting for 6 years, and I used to say it was a 6 years of struggling. Absolutely not. This is my year of preparation, my 6 years of preparation for me to be who I was destined to be and called to be. There's nothing that's going to get in my way of me becoming a lawyer and going to the school of my choosing, and also getting the money that is well deserved. I don't believe my wait was done in vain. And you have to hold on to that, knowing that it's going to get better, even when things are staying the same or not changing at all, or they get worse. You hold on to the vision, you hold on to the dream, you hold on to that thing that was promised to you until it's your appointed time for it to come to fruition. Society put a timeline on everything, but I'm no longer following society's timeline. I'll wait. And I'll keep waiting until it's the right time for me, not when someone else says it's my time. A lot of confirmation is inside of me. A lot of things are aligning at this moment for me. And this is letting me know that my time is coming. And again, I'm so grateful that God chose me for this journey. And not a lot of people can say that about their journey, their period of waiting, is that they're grateful that God chose them for that. I am living proof of the miracles that God can do. And I know that my waiting season is going to be somebody else's survival guide. That's my ultimate goal, is to be able to help somebody else. And you can only help someone sometimes by going through some things, being able to tell them from your experience. There are things that you can't learn on the internet or in a book. Sometimes you got to go ahead and learn things on your own just by living. And I'm glad this 6 years has been nothing but me living and learning and loving, crying, being angry. There's a lot of things that I've learned in this season. There's a lot of things that bring so much joy to my heart, letting me know that it's finally about to come into fruition. Keep looking at the clock, guys, so I'm making sure I'm staying on time. But I hope this talk was beneficial for you all. I gave you my story because, again, I want to be relatable. This is the first time I've actually done an actual talk like this. I do pray that I get better. I do hope that I get better at doing talks like this. But all I desire is to be open and honest and to be relatable, so that someone else can hear my story and see what I've gone through and know that they're not alone. God gives some of the greatest battles to his most God gives his greatest battles to some of his most
It's okay, girl. It's that time. It's that time. He gets to
Okay.
back to his greatest warriors. There we go.
There you go. So you got it. There you go.
So, Raisha, now is the time for you to kind of tell them a little bit about what you provide, services that you're looking to do in the future, anything that you think that you are very skilled in that it would be time for people to pay you for.
Okay, let's see.
If you can think of those things, but take the time to show what you're good at, because we already know you got this very engaging voice. So you got to do something with your voice. I don't know what it is, but it's very engaging. Maybe start a podcast. People clearly like listening.
So I'm going to tell everyone this. I have a lot of things that I want to do, but again, my focus is getting into law school. I do want to get into life coaching. I have a wealth of knowledge, an abundance of experience behind me, and I'm to only be 32. My story is crazy, and I find it that if you share your story with someone, you never know who you can help. And again, going back to waiting season, all I want to do is be somebody else's survival guide to help them overcome what I went through. I'm actually really good at pulling things out of people, helping people. I'm realizing people are coming to me now, asking me questions about passion and purpose and what different career tracks look like. I'm more than happy to assist anyone who is looking at a career change, who just want to talk to someone. My email is below. Right, Nina? They can see my email, right?
Yeah, they can.
Okay, yes. You guys can reach out to me on my email. My phone is in my hand 24/7, except when I'm sleeping. My email is the most convenient and reliable way of getting into contact with me. Whatever you may need, if I don't know the answer to, I will be happy to assist. We'll be happy to help you figure it out. But like I said, I am also going to look into doing life coaching. In the near future. But that's pretty much it. Oh, I forgot. I also do meditation. Again, my meditation is rooted in the Holy Ghost. I don't know about other people, but that's what my meditation is rooted in. So if you're someone who needs to be more grounded, you're someone who is looking for a safe space to just be one, to get your thoughts out, and just to be in the present, I do meditation. You can reach out to me via email. I'm doing it for free right now, because I'm still learning about meditation. I didn't start meditating until the beginning of this year, and it has dramatically changed my life for the better. Because I combine my meditation with prayer, and then also my meditation also includes affirmations, which we need a lot of pushing through, especially during this time. The world seems to be on fire. Okay, Nina, making sure I'm good on time. Nina, ma'am.
Sorry, the buttons froze. But yeah, so we really, really appreciate it. And we had a couple questions just to kind of drive home your point. So there's a couple things, Raisha, you probably never, had any struggle to get to where you are today. Everything probably came super easy to you. Everything fell into your lap the same exact moment that you wanted it. But just in case it didn't, could you tell somebody who's listening right now about a time in which you got to experience struggle and had to learn how to take that struggle and kind of boss up afterward? So let's talk about that for a second.
Woo! Okay. So I'm always going to use my current experience. Nothing in my life has came easy. Everything I had to work for. There's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into everything, every fiber of my being. But currently, like I said, during the lesson, I have been trying to get in law school for the last 6 years. The LSAT has been my biggest struggle. And as many of you may know, that is one of the hardest standardized tests that are out there. And I kept taking the test. I kept studying differently, kept preparing differently, but nothing seemed to work until somebody else had to tell me that I needed to get evaluated. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. I am a little tired, you guys. But so with that being said, I had to make a choice because I didn't want the stigma of having a disability. I look perfectly fine. I'm good. I'm normal. I didn't want that. But until I actually admitted that something might be wrong, and then also going through my personal healing from my trauma, my door to law school was not ever going to open for me. You block your blessings when you hold on to things that you're supposed to release. So I had to accept that possibly I have a disability. And I had to also say, you know what, it's time for me to go ahead and heal from my trauma. Once I started doing that, I bossed up and started doing that. Things have gotten progressively better in my life. Like everything has gotten better in my life, not just my journey to law school, but everything got better when I finally said, I am going to take the necessary steps in order to make Raisha whole. Next question, Nina.
So the other question that we always have is something that most people really don't want to admit, but this is something that I think would be very helpful. What's something that you can improve on? Because, you know, you're probably great at everything and you never make any mistakes and you're probably perfect in all the things that you do. But in case you're not, what's something that you can help others understand that you're still struggling with, so it's okay, and that you, as well as anybody else, are human, but it's not impossible to still keep going, especially with this waiting season. So what's your struggle there?
I would definitely say my struggle. Ooh, let me think about this because that's not a struggle of mine anymore. I would say that my struggle, what my biggest struggle at this point was being able to not judge people for who they are. It's easy for us to judge people. We pretty much, whatever we see on surface is what it is, that's it. During this whole process, I have recognized that the surface is never just it. No one is perfect. Everyone has flaws. Everyone has a story to tell. And a lot of people are the way they are because of something that happened to them at some point in their life that was traumatic. So recognizing, again, to bring this back around, my biggest struggle was always seeing the fault in someone and not recognizing that this person has a story to tell and they are the way they are because of something they went through. Nina, your button paused again?
No, girl, I'm trying to coordinate being on 2 calls at once. The last thing that I think would be good for everyone to hear from you is the way that you found innovation during this COVID-19. So how did you learn how to innovate or to take, you know, a very crappy situation and make it positive?
One, you're recognizing that your best is good enough. That's number one. Once you start there, that what your best is good enough, then you can kind of figure out how to maneuver everyday life during this pandemic. For me, what I've had to do in order to get my mind right during this time was, one, meditation. How I'm communicating with people nowadays, as we all are, is more virtual. Getting comfortable with doing more virtual stuff. So you have to find ways how to make that fun. A lot of FaceTime, a lot of Zoom calls, anything to make the things that were once boring to make it fun. I'm cooking more. I guess that's innovative for me. I'm cooking more because it's also bringing some type of healing to me. I can't believe I'm admitting that, but whatever. Cooking is bringing some type of healing to me. So I've been trying to figure out new ways just to make myself happy and just to honor myself in the moment, in the space that I am in, and just recognizing that my best is good enough in that moment. Any more questions?
So that's really the final question. We're at the wrap up portion. So this is that time where you can give a one final motivational message to the people listening, anything that would be a takeaway motivational that you can inspire into them for the next 5 minutes. And then we'll do your wrap up call on Zoom, and then you will be done.
All right. What I would definitely say to take away from this is don't rush God. Your time is your time, and honor your waiting season. Your vision will come into fruition, but there are things that you must learn and do prior to you getting that promise. Learn those lessons, meet those people, do all of that before you get where you need to be. It's necessary for your development. Another thing I will definitely say is don't put limits on God. Forget the timetable, forget the time frame, forget what society says. Everyone has a timetable of what things or when things are supposed to happen. It doesn't happen like that. Again, you can be 50 and just now starting your own business. You can be 80 and go back to school. Timetables and time frames for certain things are necessary, but for your life, no. You only get one life. Live it to your fullest extent. And no matter what happens, no matter how many times you fall, get back up.
That was beautiful, Raisha. And there are a lot of people out there that are probably so happy. I know you had at least consistent followers watching this whole time. So I don't think I've seen the number go to zero since. So whatever you're saying is hitting home. And they might not be saying anything. I know that Andrea did say hello earlier. So hi, Andrea. Tiger, and she's on Facebook. So I think she's just watching the normal Facebook page. But one thing I will say is that you guys waiting is one thing, but being patient during the wait is the other part. So you can say you waiting, but you know how you guys be waiting with your legs shaking and you pat your knee and you like so, and you looking at your clock. That's not waiting, really, right? That's just kind of being impatient. So you have to understand what waiting looks like. And when you understand that, you will go to your next level. So yeah, that's all I got.
All facts. Again, you guys can email me at raishaawilliams@gmail.com. It's been on the screen. Any questions that you may have about my law school journey, about any of the jobs that I have, about my current job that I've already stated, feel free to email me. If you're thinking about meditation, email me about that as well. I am here to help in any way that I can.
All right, we're going to go ahead and end. Thank you guys for coming. And guess what? You guys just heard from Raisha. But you guys know that not only did you hear from Raisha, but we got some more Power Pack people tomorrow. So this is your first up for tomorrow, taking up space and finding your voice with Amira Stewart. I hope you guys get up early on Saturday because it's going to be at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. because we ain't having no more late nights and early mornings. So we thank you, Raisha, and we know that it's going to be an amazing presentation, like feedback and all that. So make sure you guys give her feedback. Do that. All right.
Please do, and please be honest.
Yeah, tell her she did good, or be honest.
Tell me, or not. Tell me I need to start saying or to be honest.
Love it. I love it. Well, I'm so glad that you guys were tuned in. And I'm sorry you can't see Raisha's wrap up, but that's private between Raisha and myself. So, breakdown. So, bye, guys.